My name is Duane Hauser. My dad taught me how to fly his Vagabond when I was just a kid. He was a pastor of a church, and so at the time we had this little Vagabond, and so Dad used that to do some preaching or some talking from the air with a speaker that he put in the back of the airplane. And growing up, I was his stick man. I would actually fly while he was speaking on the little amplifier and tape machine that he had. So that was his way of evangelizing people, asking them to come to church. He called it the pulpit in the sky.
AOPA keeps flying safe, accessible, and fun by protecting your freedom to fly. We are the most trusted one-stop resource for all things related to general aviation. Become an AOPA pilot today.
People would come to church and they wanted to hear this idiot that was speaking from the air. It caused some excitement, and it actually helped to fill the pews at church on Sunday, which was important. Basically, he would use some passages of scripture, and then also this tape player had some hymns on it, and so he would put the little cassette in there and play that through the amplifier, and that would arouse the people's, when they were listening, wonder what's going on, and then he would circle and then invite people to church. He cut a hole in the back of the airplane on the side, just behind the left side where the cockpit would be on the outside, and built a bracket inside to hold the speaker, which was rather heavy, and then of course ran the wires up to the amplifier, which we kept either in the back or on our laps. And that amplifier, of course, because the engine had no generator or alternator, there was no electrical system in the airplane, so it was run by like these 8 D-cell batteries.
My name is Duane Hauser, and we're at the New Garden Airport. Well, behind me is a PA-15 Piper Vagabond, and it's special to me for 2 reasons. It's special to me because our family has a history with a Vagabond from years ago, and because my father and I restored it together. My father grew up with my grandfather owning a Vagabond, and that was very special to them. And my dad always said when he retired he wanted to purchase that Vagabond one day and have it again. He said it was the most fun airplane he's ever flown, and he wished that it had never been sold out of the family. So we got to looking around for years for that Vagabond, and we weren't able to find it because it was off the registry. And one day we were actually at Oshkosh and it popped up on the registry. And so we contacted the registered owner right away and told them we had a family history with that airplane and would they sell it, and they said no. So my father was not happy with that answer, although we convinced him that was the answer he would have to accept. So we went on about our business, and I stumbled across this project at the Massey Aerodrome. I think it was June of 2016, and I sent a picture of it to my dad. I said, I found a Vagabond, and he said, well, that's not the one I want. So we kind of left it at that, and a few days later I went down there and I bought it anyways. Bought the project, and my dad had just retired, and so a week or 2 later I said, well, I bought you a retirement gift. He seemed a little more interested then once I had kind of secured it. The gentleman that has my grandfather's old airplane, he and I got to be friends, and he's restoring my grandfather's airplane as I was restoring this airplane, and we would pass parts back and forth and share parts for templates, and he was choosing to use a different engine in his Vagabond, and so he sold me the core to this engine. So, which my father and I restored together with the help of a friend. It was pretty interesting. When we bought this engine, my grandfather was over for Thanksgiving at their home, and he said, what do you got there? He said, that looks like an engine logbook. I said, it's an engine logbook and your name is all over it. He said, what do you mean? So I gave him the logbook and his eyes got real big, and he said, where did you get this? I said, well, I bought the engine. I said, and the rest of it's out in the garage. And you've never seen an old man move so fast to go out and see his old engine. We were pretty actively working on the project for a little over 4 years, and when we first bought the aircraft, the fuselage was mostly together. Most of the welding work had been done and it was covered, just the fuselage. The rest of the aircraft was pretty much in shambles and just a pile of parts. I'd say it's nostalgic to fly, but it's an airplane that keeps your attention. So I don't know that I have so many sentimental feelings when I'm flying it, as just I focus on flying it well. But it's very maneuverable, has excellent performance for being an aircraft of its type. It'll cruise at 100 miles an hour on just 65 horsepower. It's very light, and like I said, it's fast and efficient, and surprisingly, it's comfortable inside. The panel is original style, so there's no electrical system. I think there are 4 gauges in the compass in there in our efforts to keep it light, so our empty weight came in a few pounds under 700 pounds. I think I feel pretty confident we did a nice finish job on the airplane and mechanically did a lot of the work that was necessary. All of the sheet metal work, except for the nose bowl, is custom done by us. We did a nice job with the finish. We used Stewart systems on the finish. My grandfather visited on a couple of occasions while we were restoring it, which was kind of neat for him to be able to see that and be a part of that. Quite frankly, sometimes I had legitimate questions about how to manufacture a part or how to, why something was the way it was, and he would tell me how he thought it should go, and most of the time it worked. So it was fun to have him included in that. I think Dad really likes it. The first time we flew it together, he said, "Boy, I forgot how maneuverable it is. It's pretty touchy. It's just a fun airplane to fly."
Loved it.
Loved it.
We did that quite a bit. It was the way that I learned how to fly. So Dad was not an instructor, a certified instructor, but he taught me how to fly. So to learn to fly a tail dragger, to start out your flying career that way, was rather interesting. It taught me how to really fly.
The first time we had it fired up here with the wings on and Dad got to taxi it around, I asked him, "How's it feel?" And he said, "It feels like home."